Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jones.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. As a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each show segment available. Head on over and like what you hear. We'd appreciate your subscription. What's going on, guys? How's it going?
It's going, and you know what it is. It's the drink, it's the beard, it's the wisdom. Let's do it.
Let's talk some sports, baby. You know what it is, Friday. You know what I'm saying? Got the energy flowing. Let's talk.
Let's do it, man. In episode 80, what does the latest quarterback contract mean for Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott? ESPN Plus, NFL player rankings are out, and college football, or it might be conference games only. So we might be headed that way. And, of course, that latest quarterback contract is no other than Patrick Mahomes. Fresh off his Super Bowl run, the Kansas City quarterback just signed the biggest contract in sports history. KC and Mahomes agreed to a 10-year contract extension on the remaining 2 years he has now, for a total deal being 12 years at up to $503 million. This puts the new face of the league under contract to the 2031 season, and it pays them like no other before, but it also does help out the Chiefs with some flexibility in the years to come. So, Jay, what'd you think of the news, and was this a smart move by both parties?
You know, a lot of times we look at the landscape of the sports world, and we see a lot of things that don't make sense many times. A couple recent moves that come to mind include the Green Bay Packers taking Jordan Love, and then you had the Houston Texans trading away DeAndre Hopkins for who Drink used to or was referring to earlier as somebody used to be good. That would happen to be David Johnson. But then sometimes we look around and we see news that makes a whole lot of sense. Patrick Mahomes, an MVP in his first season starting in 2018, and then last season, you know, had that stretch where he sprained knee, I believe it was, on that quarterback sneak against Denver, missed a little bit of time, and overshadowed somewhat in the regular season by the greatness of Lamar Jackson. But he makes that playoff run, including overcoming double-digit deficits in all of those games in the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl MVP. And, I mean, it was just a matter of time because, in my estimation, we look at position groups and, you know, a lot of times there's some debate at who's the best at a position at any given time. The quarterback position is pretty clear-cut. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football right now. I don't think there's any denying that. And he's been in the league. Well, he's heading into his fourth year. They pick up the fifth-year option. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We can see what's coming. And then you have this mega extension. Hey, this is one of those situations where it makes a lot of sense. It's good for both sides. And looking at the landscape of quarterback contracts prior to this, Russell Wilson was your highest-paid quarterback at about $35 million a year. I love what Kansas City did. They upped the ante. Really, they really did with going at $45 million a year, $45 million a year, and there's incentives. They could get this up to over $500 million. The good thing about it is it's fairly team-friendly in the first half of this contract. It actually, if you take a look at the contracts of Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, Mahomes' contract it's more lucrative, but the first half of the contracts are kind of comparable. And I believe Mahomes' cap hit throughout those first 5 years is going to be in the 15%, 16% range of their total cap. And I mean, let's be honest. When I look at Mahomes, and I was talking about this with Drink earlier, I mean, Mahomes can cover up so many deficiencies that you have. Mahomes is really the first quarterback I've seen, and this would include the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who is running the football or if they run the football at all. He's that great. And then we can see him from time to time. I believe there was a play against Tennessee where he just takes off and somehow makes a 30 to 40 yard touchdown run of his own. And you're thinking about, was that Lamar running? No, that was Mahomes. Wow. He can do that too. He can do it all. And we've seen enough. It's only been 2 seasons of play, but he's the real deal. He's the best quarterback in football. This is a no-brainer. I have no issues about this at all.
Yeah, listen, I'm with Jay on this. It's a no-brainer, but the reason I feel like it's a no-brainer is because, I was talking to Jay about this earlier. When you look into the fine print, the smaller things, we're so enamored with the fact that, listen, $503 million, the first NFL player to sign a contract over $500 million. The first time an NFL player has been, in the top echelon of money. It's usually the baseball guys. It's usually maybe the basketball guys. Now you got your first NFL guy that can say, at some point I had the highest contract in the 4 major sports history. We look at that, but look, we got to look in the fine print. 100 and he got 100. Is it 180 dollars as for 180 million for the injury clause? 140?
140 for the injury clause, yeah.
140 for the injury clause. He got a no trade clause. He had he got all these small things that's in there that we're overlooking because we like 503 mil. Holla at your boy. But then let's talk about Kansas City a little bit. Well, Kansas City got it very, very incentive later. Are these incentives that he can make? Yeah, but they're kind of outrageous. I don't know nobody that had 5 MVP seasons in a row, win 5 Super Bowls in a row. So when you kind of look at these incentives, you're like, are they reasonable for Mahomes? Yes. Do we really think he's going to meet them? No. So Kansas City looked out for themselves to throw those in there. Why? Because they knew we was going to be enamored with the 503. Oh, by the way, do you know over the next 2 years, the likes of Ryan Tannehill and Kirk Cousins going to make more guaranteed money than Patrick Mahomes? So, when you look at that grand scheme, you're like, wait, I didn't think of that. Now, if Mahomes make it to year, 7, 8, 9, 10, then we talking about something totally different. We talking ground shaking then. But I think the contract, the way it's set up, listen, this is how I look at it for Patrick Mahomes. He knew, okay, right now I have a great head coach. I got a great organization. I got a great, everything. You know how hard it is for these quarterbacks to go to an organization where everything above them is going right? How many times, look at Andrew Luck. Grixon. Grixon let him get, Grixon, man, Andrew Luck almost died on the field. Look at Deshaun Watson.
Any quarterback Cleveland's drafted in 20 years. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
Jags
Cincinnati. What I'm saying? It's so many organizations that let their players down. Mahomes said, listen, I'm in a good spot. I trust my organization. My organization seemed to be treating me right. Why would I want to leave? You can't pay for good management. I mean, you could pay for good management, but you don't want to overlook good management. When you got a good spot, don't worry about if the grass is green on the other side. Your grass is green enough right here, and this is where I want to stay. Now, it's a little outrageous. We don't know what happened. Andy Reid might retire. Eric B might go off and, get a head coaching job. The GM might go somewhere. We don't know. We can't see into the future. But this is what Patrick Mahomes do know. These guys can talk to me. They say they're going to be here for the next 3 or 4 years, whatever the case might be. This is where I want to be. This is where I laid my bones. And, yeah, I give you the long-term security to know you got the best gunslinger in the game for the next 12 years, as long as you keep taking care of me. And, listen, Kansas City has took care of him. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, D'Amico Hardman, Sammy Watkins, what's his name? Williams. And don't forget Kareem Hunt used to be back there. And now you got Edwards-Helaire. Offensive line ain't too shabby either. You see what I'm saying? They take care of him just as well as he take care of them. So it seems like this is the way. If an NFL quarterback could dream up a scenario, this is what they will want. This is picture perfect of what you want. I can trust you. You can trust me. Let's go get these rings. So that, hey man, like Jay said, it's a no-brainer. And I see this being very, very fruitful for both sides with the years to come.
Yeah, the one thing I like about this, first of all, is bravo to the Chiefs for getting this done before they had to. We've talked about so many players in the last couple of weeks. Jalen Ramsey, Jamal Adams, Dak Prescott, Dalvin Cook, the list goes on, of players that are currently fighting through transition tags and franchise tags and fifth-year extensions and whatnot because the teams are buying time and procrastinating, where the Chiefs had plenty of time. There was literally no reason they had to do this deal today. And they said, you know what, we're going to do it, and we're going to lock him up, and we're going to get this done. So, first of all, hats off to him. We'll talk about the contract a little bit more real quick, break it down a little bit, because there's a lot of moving parts with this. But what it kind of boils down to is this, okay? This is it's really good for, I think, both for Mahomes and the team, because Mahomes gets the fantastic job security for years and years to come, and he's obviously the richest sports player in history by contract now, because he's drafted outside the top 10 guys. So, or I think maybe he was 10th. So he's been making pennies on the dollar compared to Rodgers and Wilson and all the other guys. But it's essentially a 5-year contract to start. How we think of the first 5 years is more of a typical 5-year contract until 2023. He gets the last 2 years of this deal he is on now. Most of the full guarantees of $63 million are part of the signing bonuses, the initial base salary, which is $3.3 million, and his roster bonuses, which for 21 and 22 are combined $48 million. After that, this deal is more structured like a series of 1-year deals that you make ahead of time. So how that kind of looks is basically after 2023 is that he has these huge $35 to $50 million roster bonuses, but they're fully guaranteed 2 full years ahead of time. So, for example, if they wanted to cut him in, say, 2025, they wanted to move on, which is about where, let's just say for whatever reason they wanted to do so, that his 2026 money guarantees in 2024 on the third day of the league year. But at some point, they can start to think, okay, how are we going to move on from this contract without having an albatross of hundreds of millions of dollars of dead cap on our books? So it's pretty smartly done by both sides, because Mahomes gets to know at least a year or two ahead of time, hey, my time's coming up if they're going to move on. And the Chiefs have a way out after the next couple of years, although it looks like they're not going to want it. But either way, the one thing you break it down and you look at it is the two things you talked about. Jay, you said it well. He has a $5 million cap hit this year and $24 million next year. $24 million this year is about Rivers, Wentz territory, I think. Maybe not Wentz, but it's like that Phillip Rivers, Matt Stafford sort of contract level. So, first year it's like he's still dirt cheap. Next year he's still pretty cheap compared by elite quarterbacks. And then 2022 is when they're going to start to feel the burn from this. But that gives them 2 years to make smart cap decisions. Hey, maybe we can't bring back Sammy Watkins. Maybe we got to go draft a little bit more. Hey, maybe we need to stop trading our draft picks because now we're really going to need them. But it gives the Chiefs 2 years to get ready for this kind of storm of salary cap that's coming. But when you look at it based off the way the salary cap increases, he's not really ever going to be in a spot where he's massively overpaid. I think the 2027 he's going to make $50 million against the cap, but who knows? By 2027, if Dak's worth 40, then God knows what we're going to be paying some dudes. So, you know what I mean? So at no point does this look like, oh God, the Chiefs are going to be screwed in years to come. So it's he's got Tyreek Hill through 2022, Travis Kelce through 2021. He's got some draft picks they just got. This looks really good for both sides. It really does.
And one more thing One more thing I wanted to add. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. This speaks to the character of Patrick Mahomes. He could have held Kansas City over the barrel and be like, "I want a fully guaranteed contract." And I'm telling you right now, if he would have raised a big stank and said, "Hey, I want a full contract," those fans for Kansas City would have been like, "Hey, you pay him what he wants. He want a fully guaranteed. If Kirk Cousins out here getting a fully guaranteed contract, you pay him what he asking for, because he already showed you he blowing Kirk Cousins out the water." But him being the smart guy that he is, he said, "I can't ask for the world if I want a team around me." So he made sure he made it to where, okay, you're telling me you want me to play at a certain level to get these bonuses. I believe in myself, so I'm going to play to these certain levels to get these bonuses. I'm not going to rake you over the coal. Could have, but he didn't. So I think that was something important to mention.
Yeah, and one of the things he mentioned was two things he was looking for: long-term security, and he didn't want to completely gut the Chiefs to where they couldn't surround him with great talent. And when you actually take a look at the contract in detail, as Cody so eloquently laid out for us, that's what he did up front. And there's a great point about those 2 years where those cap hits are going to be embarrassingly low compared to some of the other contracts we're looking at. But I mean, again, this is one of those situations where if you have a guy with the character of Patrick Mahomes coming off a Super Bowl victory and then coming off 2 years ago an MVP season, this should be easy, because on one hand, the Chiefs have the best quarterback in football, and Patrick Mahomes is in a great situation. Chiefs probably throw him in their top 5 organization. This is one of those examples where it should be really easy.